I
3
did
minutes.
double
So
wee before this, so
a double
I'm all
wee.
right.
What's a double wee?
Well, like twice. Just go
Oh,
twice.
okay. I've never heard of a double wee. It's a new one to me.
It's preparation, Josh.
Yeah. Well, we're recording, so we're starting.
Okay, cool.
Right. So first off, so people know yourself a bit more. I'm not going to say tell me about yourself or anything. I'm just going to say what is the business you run and who do you work with at the moment. And I'm going to dive into like how you got there as well from CrossFit because I find it interesting the transition between the two. And I want to see like the change in yourself and the people you work with and stuff. So who do you work with now and what are your goals with working with them?
So, who I work with now is basically people who are capable and they are good at the discipline part. You know, they're good at doing stuff to support themselves, to support their health and their fitness, but it is costing them their body because they're also very good at overriding.
Okay.
So that is my person. And I think what I have realised probably more recently is that my thing is the relationship part of training.
The relationship with the client and how they feel towards training.
No, their
Okay.
relationship
With you,
with,
with a
no,
coach.
with their body.
Okay.
So like you, I look to rebuild movement, you know, that is missing or stuck or, you know, lacking that broad range of expression that we want to have for, you know, for let's say the longevity side of training. But within that, I don't want to just keep it to, you know, can they show up for training? Can they do what I tell them? I want them to actually think about their relationship to their training, their relationship to their recovery, their relationship to how they, well, where they put their effort.
Okay.
Because what I think about our industry is that it is really heavy on rewarding like intensity, compliance and aesthetics, right? I would say they're the top three things that
I
people would
agree with
look at health and fitness. And that's kind of what rules everything in health and fitness, isn't it? Are you hitting intensity? Are you compliant with your training? Are you disciplined as a person? Or, you know, are you training for aesthetics? And those things are obviously all going to merge. But the way I think about that is that those things, whilst there's some qualities in there, like the discipline and the hard work, they're not bad things. But I think they easily disconnect people from themselves.
Interesting. Okay, I'm just thinking of myself when I.
And I'm not here for disconnection. For me, it just doesn't sit right. It doesn't make sense to me to be driving for something that also disconnects you, you know, from yourself as a human, from your values, from your sort of purpose. So when I
Yeah.
talk about, yes, I'm here to help someone rebuild their movement, their strength, I'm also here for looking on a deeper level into their relationship with themselves.
Okay, that is a very deep answer.
Is that what you were expecting?
From yourself, yeah, I was expecting something like that. So based on that, then you spoke about connection. So say someone was first coming to work with you, they don't know about you that much and kind of what you do, but then they've stayed with you for like 6 months to a year maybe. What do you feel like that building connection looks like for that individual? What
I
traits are you looking for?
um I think it's not necessarily traits that I look for. I think I'm really good at sensing where they are just pushing through shit because that's how they know to get stuff done. I think they've got to a point where they can't really accurately process what is productive and what's just following a plan, even if it's not quite right for their body, even if it's not really getting the results that they're hoping for, and they're in that cycle of, you know, whether it's pain or dysfunction or, you know, just not feeling like they're making progress. So I think I bring the honesty into it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind
would
of
you
like,
say it's like the real reason for going to the gym and doing that thing, like what are you trying to get out of it, but at a deep,
yeah,
rather than just
yeah,
I want to feel fit and just go to the gym.
yeah. And, you know, I guess it's sort of trying to ask the questions where, okay, so you did that extra session, even though you said you were actually knackered that day and you'd already done something else. So
Me yesterday.
what's behind that? What's going on there, Josh? Why did you do
I feel
that?
like you should just ask me the question and I just answer it. I might just learn a bit from that.
But it's kind of like, it's calling people out with compassion and
Yeah.
asking, you know, are you doing this because you're really connected? Or are you doing this because you're actually disconnected and maybe disassociating? Because we've been there, right?
Yeah.
Training as a form of disassociation, because, you know, this could get really dark, because that's how we're used to showing up. That's how we stay attached to our identity. That's how we hide the parts of ourselves that we don't really like.
I feel like you're very emotionally connected to yourself to be able to actually bring those thoughts into a conversation.
Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah. So
Hence saying, like, you know, I think it's the relationship part that is my thing.
yeah,
Probably over and above the movement stuff. It's
yeah.
taken me quite a while to realise that.
So I'm gonna go into your transition of how you got there, because I feel like this makes sense, because so you used to own a CrossFit Box, right?
I did.
How long ago was that now?
So I co-owned it with my partner Tom, and we opened it in August 2014, and it closed in December 2021. The last 2 years were obviously going through the pandemic, and we came away from the CrossFit affiliation for the last 2 years of the gym existence.
Okay. So did you, in that period of working from 2014 to when you closed the box, did you have a mindset shift in your training then, or was it after that then you thought the training might need to be different for myself and other people that I want to work with?
I had a mindset shift during that time, but I probably had a mindset shift before I went into CrossFit. There's probably been a few evolutions of mindset here.
Okay.
It's probably a portfolio now, Josh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's go through the mindset shifts then. So when you opened the gym in 2014, what was your mindset towards training then?
Well, I'll backtrack to the bit before, because I think there's probably 3 big phases, right? And then there's all the little micro phases within those. The first biggest shift for me in my own training, so I've been training for like 21 years.
Okay.
The first block of time, so let's say from the age of 23 to 30, was all about trying to make myself look better, which generally meant being skinnier.
Okay.
So I was chasing a body size and a body type, and quite obsessive about fitness, quite obsessive about eating habits, but always living on like a roller coaster of trying to diet, failing because I probably wasn't actually fueling myself properly, binging, just staying on that. And then when I found CrossFit, it flicked a switch, because, as you know, the focus in CrossFit is not on aesthetics.
No.
Aesthetics are present in CrossFit because people are jacked as fuck. But
Yeah.
Like, let's not pretend.
Yeah.
But that's not what people are training for. And for me, when I found CrossFit, I was like, oh, wow, you can actually just train to like get better and stronger. And, you know, all of these skills are available. Like, wow, oh my God, there's gymnastics and there's weightlifting and all of these things together. So that was the first big shift from.
I'm just going to stop you there because that is
Go on.
exactly the same shift as I had.
Oh, really?
Because I was just going to a normal gym
Yeah.
with the goal of just aesthetics, nothing
Yeah.
else. And then I found CrossFit and had that same mindset shift where it was there's a whole range of things we have to learn here, and it become more
Yeah.
skill and performance based from aesthetics based. And then obviously the community is there as well, so it kind of helps push you in that direction a bit more. But
Yeah,
I
for
do
sure.
agree, there's definitely aesthetics within CrossFit as well. It depends how deep you get and how good you are with performance, because that will come with the aesthetics. But so
Yeah.
far, you're on the same train as me, so I want to see where it changes, because I feel like the change could be the same as me as well.
Yeah. So that's mindset shift number one. And then I think mindset shift number two came. Um, so we were affiliated for 5 years of the 7, and probably after sort of year 3 of having the gym, we both started to feel like the intensity model is not necessarily the best.
Did you outsource your programming,
No,
or did you do it all yourself?
we did it. Tom did it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think we just like, I think with CrossFit, I now see it through the lens of, as a fitness model, it's amazing. It is. I don't think anyone can really dispute that, because what the athletes produce and how they perform is ridiculous,
Yeah,
right?
I agree with that still, yeah.
Yeah.
People think
It's
I'm anti-CrossFit, and I
yeah,
actually love
yeah.
CrossFit still, but I just don't really do it.
No, as a fitness model, like, you can't really dispute the evidence of how those athletes show
Yeah.
up and perform, right? As a model for movement, as a model for having a good base of strength and control and flexibility, I think that's where it can fall short, and I think that's where people miss the mark. And I think as gym owners, we just started to feel like we felt like strength should be the foundation for everything. And because we had sort of built our identity around being a CrossFit gym, whenever we tried to add in more typical strength training,
Yeah.
we were always kind of up against a barrier. But that was really what we felt was right. And,
Is
you
that
know,
with the people, what they expected as members,
yeah,
what
exactly.
sessions they wanted to get out of it?
Yeah. And, you know, our membership was mostly middle-aged people.
Yeah.
So they're coming to you with, you know, mobility restrictions, but they are so attached to the CrossFit way of training, which is like work hard, go fast, actually trying to pull people back and get them to focus on quality movement and mobility. Like, it's just impossible. And I think from past conversations, you experienced this too in your work.
I did, but I feel like for me, like the whole reason I kind of got into this industry was because I guess I was not happy with how I felt in CrossFit, because I never felt great in my body, because I was just getting like beaten up, and I had
Yep.
serious knee pain for it must have been 5 or 6 years, and that was throughout the
Wow.
entire time doing CrossFit, from like the start of it to the end. Um, so I guess I always felt like I couldn't push my performance anymore because my body wasn't allowing me to do that. So then I started going into other areas to seek answers as to why I was in pain in CrossFit. I felt like I was strong, I was fit, and I felt mobile, but I was just, I guess there was a lot of load and a lot of compensations going through me that certain areas couldn't handle, right? So for me, I transitioned into kind of this industry to fix myself, and then obviously opened a clinic in a gym to help others. And I feel like looking back at the transition now, I probably just didn't have a strong enough foundation going into it. And I feel like the people you were working with, maybe the clients you had, sort of middle-aged, they probably didn't have that foundation of movement beneath them, and then they throw themselves in too quickly, and then they just feel like crap training. And I guess I wanted to come away from that. So then I started a more kind of functional training route, which I still include bits of CrossFit in there because I enjoy it and I think it's fun. And people enjoy the intensity of it sometimes, and it adds the compliance of programs if they're enjoying it. So I try and make things hybrid, do a bit of both. But the whole reason, well, not the whole reason, but the route forward for me now for helping people is more functional approach, which I know it is for you as well now.
Yeah, and you talked about having knee pain for 5 years and feeling beaten up, and I can relate to that as well. I used to pick up like so many of the itises, like
Whole body had an itis.
Yeah, basically whole body itis. Plantar fasciitis. I've had tennis elbow multiple times. I always used to get like pissed off shoulders and elbows.
Okay.
And it would get to like 20 kipping pull-ups, and then something with itis again. Another itis would pop up.
Yeah.
It was just fucking annoying. So I never had anything that made me feel like broken. But at the same time, when you've got something like that in a CrossFit setting, there aren't really options. You can't like just bypass movements, because the movement patterns there's so much of the same movement patterning. You can't just sidestep like you can with regular strength training.
Yeah. I feel like you can, but because you're in a community kind of environment, it's hard to be like, I'm going to do something different to the other person in the class.
Yeah.
And then it gets a bit more complex. But also you add the intensity onto it as well. So
exactly.
You can bypass something and the intensity just flies up. So it becomes pointless bypassing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is difficult to navigate things in CrossFit. And when I was working in my clinic room in the CrossFit gym, working with CrossFitters, it was really hard to navigate. Like, I could program the best program for them, but then I had so much interference from their training.
Yeah.
And it was trying to balance everything. Hence, I'm not really in that gym anymore working there, so just online.
It's just too hard, though. Like, it's just too hard to come up against that.
Yeah.
And then it starts to eat your soul, doesn't it? Because it's like, well, I can't actually make a difference here because that's in the way.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And for me, in a way, I become very programming based. So for a client to come to see me, I'd want to put together a full program, but then that took them away from CrossFit. So then me being in there was kind of like a clash of two businesses, as a sense. So
Yeah.
Here I am working with CrossFitters who no longer really CrossFit, and then now looking for a solution after those CrossFit days are done, I suppose.
Okay. So you've picked up the beaten up CrossFitters, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Of which there are many.
There is a lot of them, yeah. I feel like a lot of people who were doing CrossFit, though, in their sort of early to late 20s, life changed for them as well. So getting back into CrossFit, sort of 30s and 40s, there's a hell of a lot more stresses in life.
Yes.
And they don't know it at the time, but they need a more functional approach anyway. But then they need an approach that fits them over, let's just attend classes and do whatever programmed in the class.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess not just the beaten up and the broken CrossFitters, but the people that they've gone through that transition change where they're not actually doing CrossFit anymore because they're in a different stage of their life, and now I'm working with them for other goals as such. So,
and I think, I mean, I joked about, like, having a gym full of people in middle-aged gym members with mobility issues, but like the reality is, I'm going to just say that most people doing CrossFit are not actually able to recover properly. They're actually not getting good enough sleep, fueling themselves properly. And that's where the intensity model just falls apart. And it's part of that override that I was talking about.
Yeah.
But people just get so hooked on it, they can't let go of that feeling.
Yeah.
And that being their identity. So CrossFit's great if you can recover from it properly. And if you can't, it's going to be a hard time, babe.
That was for me as well, yeah. I actually remember when I was when I was doing CrossFit 6-7 days a week, I remember getting up in the morning, walking down the stairs, and I was broken, like the itis, like you said, both knees, both like quads. I felt like I had tendonitis of the quads. Just coming down the stairs in the morning, and that was probably just the intensity and recovery for me.
Yeah.
But it's funny, you get so like deep into it that you forget. I mean, this is my personal opinion here. You forget what healthy and feeling good feels like. And again, that's my own experience with it. Like, hopefully, other people don't feel like I did, like broken with it. But I know a lot of people do as well. So.
Yeah, and I think now, like when I reflect back on how I actually felt at that time, like I do miss CrossFit. I would probably enjoy.
Do you ever sneak a bit in?
I don't actually.
You're good.
I probably need to. I probably should because I think it would. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about double unders this week. Were you in my dreams?
I actually put them on my story. I reckon I put that into your dream.
Oh, maybe it was your influence, Josh. But yeah, I just remember I used to feel like I'd been hit by a bus every day. And that was normal. And now I don't feel like that. Now I feel like my nervous system is
there's
more
a bit
normal.
of a problem with people wearing that like fatigue as like a badge of honor as well, though. Like I've been 7 days a week, because I feel like I was a bit like that.
I know, and I like to think, I hope that because culturally we are seeing a shift towards awareness of like nervous system regulation. Mm-hmm. You know, there's been a transition from telling everyone about how to manage stress to now using more accurate language about nervous system regulation, hasn't there?
Yes, there has.
And I like to think that people are more aware of, you know, how to manage their energy outputs on a day-to-day and, you know, within their fitness routines. But I'm not sure. I'm not in that world anymore, so I can't really speak to it in a way. I'm in my own little bubble now.
Yeah, I feel like I am to a degree as well.
It's nice though, right?
Yeah. It's good to expose yourself though still.
I know. I do. I really miss rope climbs, Josh.
You can't do them in that room.
I know. Oh, no, definitely not.
Unless you buy one of them ones that continuously come out the ceiling.
No, I like actually suspending myself off the floor. That was good. That was the cool part. I miss those.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a rope climb.
What do you miss from CrossFit? What was your move?
God, what was my move? What do I miss from CrossFit? I'm not too sure what I missed. You know what? I think I just missed the long conditioning workouts where you just grueling for like 40 to 60 minutes in a class. I didn't really like the 10 to 12 minute sessions where it was like balls deep as fast as you can. Yeah, no way. That was probably
me neither.
favorite one. It was more of a chipper workout I miss.
Yes.
And I guess maybe like that fits into kind of what I'm doing a bit now because it's a less intensity. But if you were to pick a specific movement, it would probably be something to do with something on the bar or rings.
Okay.
Just because it's very different from anything else that I do now. I don't have the head height for it now, so...
No. Well, I still have a goal of getting a strict ring muscle up one day.
I'm actually on a program to do one right now.
What?
Yeah, it's just a little side quest I'm doing.
Love a side quest.
Yeah, there's too many of them now. Yeah, I'm doing it's only like 2 half-hour sessions a week. It's probably going to take a long time to get it because again, I don't have the head height, so I'm trying to do I'm trying to do it in an environment which isn't that easy because I'm trying to do
You're
it with
doing
like
it
bent
all in
knee,
an L sit, basically,
pretty much. Yeah,
from the
I'm
floor.
not going to be really strong, but also it's going to screw me
Fun.
at the same time. But yeah, if I was to say something, probably something to do with the ring, something keeping on the
Okay.
ring. That was always just fun and different, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, but not too much other than that.
yeah.
So you said earlier, like building a body that you can trust, and I feel like this was in a post somewhere. I did have a little scan through
Yeah.
your profile. So what do you feel like is a body that you can trust? You wake up day to day. How does that feel for someone? Or say someone, again, like a new client comes to you and they're not sure whether they trust their body or not. They just have no awareness. What do you see in that person that doesn't trust their body yet?
I think I just see like fear in movement. I mean, a lot of people come with, I guess if I think about my groups have had more people who are completely new to strength training. And a lot of people are really fearful of picking up weights, even though they're probably picking up like their kids or bags of dog food or bags of compost, like without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Suddenly, when it becomes like this dumbbell, it's
And
like
that looks like,
it's a mind fuck somehow. So I
yeah,
think there's fear of movement, but I think a body that you can trust is one where you're not having to second guess yourself in certain situations. And if we think about just everyday activities, so like in my life, you know, running after my son, like around the park, I don't have to think like, oh, my ankle's going to give, or is my knee going to hurt, or am I going to get back pain? Or if I go and do, if I decide to move like 3 tons of rubble out of my garden through my house with a wheelbarrow, as I did last year, like, I know I can do that and I'm not going to have a bad back the next day. I'll feel like I've done some work, but
yeah,
I can do those, having a body that you can trust is one that you can use in your smaller kind of unplanned day-to-day life, and it also transfers into greater work demands, greater physical demands without having a massive impact afterwards.
yeah,
And maybe you can be this kind of person that says, oh, well, maybe I will sign up to train for a High Rocks, or maybe I do want to do like a half marathon. It's creating a bigger world to live
yeah.
in your body.
I agree. But it's good. I agree with that. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people who, especially if I look at I guess the older generation or maybe like parents' generation for myself, I feel like there is a fear when it comes to like I don't know if you know, but I've been training my dad lately.
Yeah, I was going to ask how that was going.
It's going really well. It's going really well. But manually, he's fit and strong. Had a
Yeah,
trade
he
job
looks
all
strong.
his life.
Yeah.
But then watching him take a barbell out of a holder and putting it onto the rig, it was interesting watching him do it because on a trade job he'd lift like heavy things all the time, but getting a
Yeah.
barbell and put it in a holder in a different way to how he's used to moving, and he struggled to start with. But also I think there's a fear of coming into this room, like you said, seeing all the weights, thinking, oh my God, I'm going to put weights on this bar, I'm going to be weightlifting. And people veer away from weightlifting because they've never done it, especially as they get older. But in reality, like you said, they're literally lifting heavy things all the time in probably more awkward positions.
Yeah.
And this is a more controlled environment.
Yeah.
But people don't see it as a controlled environment. They just see heavy weights and fear.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
So it
funny
is
for
interesting.
us because we've been used to it for a very long time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I almost can't. I don't know, can you think back to your first exposure to strength training? Can you remember what it felt like and what you thought afterwards? Do you remember that?
I think I was 16
Oh,
at the
wow.
time, and I was just going to a normal gym. I think all I was doing was chest and biceps.
Yeah.
And the only goal was just to get heavier on a dumbbell bench press. Uh, but I don't really remember much else. I don't really remember having the first set of DOMs I ever had. It's just normal
No.
now. But on that note, I remember speaking to my dad the next couple of days after, just checking in with how he felt. And he didn't understand how to like decide whether the muscle ache was a good ache or oh something bad is happening.
Okay.
Obviously through experience in doing that, and obviously I don't know how he feels within his body, like he's describing it to me, but I know based on what we've done, that was a sign of just keep chipping away and we'll progress on this, and that is a sign of even though you're a little bit sore, it's a good soreness, but being
Yeah.
able to differentiate between the two is something that takes a lot of reps and experience to get as well. And something I don't always think about because I'm always training. I'm usually training people who train a lot. So
Yeah.
most of us understand this, but someone new to fitness, there's a lot of other things going on that you don't think about all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, but it's going well with him and we're progressing. He hasn't
That's
missed a day yet.
cool. Is he enjoying it, or is he like,
He
did you
is.
feel any resistance?
Um, Not yet.
Okay.
No, not yet. Um, I think it's a new world to begin with for him, so it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the program to change. He wants it to be the same forever, so he can just do the same
Okay.
exercises, which is easy for programming.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also, I'm like, you can't just do the same thing forever. You know, you have to change to some degree.
Oh.
Because he doesn't want to learn new stuff. So
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah,
I did try to get my mum doing some stuff actually, and she finds strength training boring.
right, okay,
So she's, to be fair to her, she's always been active and she's always played tennis like a few times a week. She does things like mum dance and fit steps. So
right,
to be fair to her, she's had a lot of impact work. So she's probably done a pretty good job of like taking care of her bones
yeah.
by staying on like the fun side of it. But she does get aches and pains and she goes to the chiropractor, and I've tried to give her stuff to do, and she's just,
It's a
in
big
her
one.
words, she would rather like thrash around to music. She's just not interested in like slowing down and paying attention. So I've just had to like leave that,
Yeah,
walk away and leave it.
yeah, it's a tricky one.
It is. Parents don't want to learn from their kids.
No. Although I feel like your kids are very active right now. I see one of them skateboarding a lot, and I'm surprised I haven't seen you on a skateboard. I'm
I
actually
did
annoyed
try.
that I haven't seen you on it.
No, I did try. So yeah, Jesse's
What,
well
just the
into
one?
his skateboarding journey. I had a few. I tried it last summer because there were some sessions in the local park, and Jesse was going along to those.
Okay.
And I was like, "Have you got any adult stuff so I can have a go?" And I did like it.
Adult stuff on a skateboard, it's all the same, though.
No, like adult helmet and pads,
Oh, adult
as in
equipment.
like safety
Sorry, I thought you
equipment.
meant
Yeah,
adult
yeah.
movements I can do.
No. And I liked it, and I had a few lessons, but the lessons kind of clashed with work, so it was hard
Okay.
to go every week, and you really need that consistency. And I did find it I found it quite intense. Like I could really feel myself, like just feeling really rigid and stiff, and I could feel that fear kind of kicking on. And a lot of it was to do with like when it was quieter, it was fine, but when it was busier in the skate park and I could hear other people like falling
Yeah.
off, it really impacted me. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not going to rule it out. I would like to try again, but
Yeah. I feel like for you, like we just spoke about feeling like capable in our own
yeah,
body, right, as well. So do you
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like as soon as you stepped on that skateboard, your kind of capability was reduced to some degree because it was like an uncontrollable for you?
No, the first time I stepped on it, I felt more comfortable than I thought I would, honestly. And then as the weeks progressed, the fear sort of crept in more then.
Did you drop in?
No, I didn't drop in. Oh my God.
I'm just gauging the level where we got to, that's all.
No, I was literally just like, what was I
Just
doing?
rolling
Getting
with
me
it.
like to snake in and out of some cones and then
Okay.
just going up, trying to hit the numbers going up the ramp and then coming back down. Oh, and trying to, like when you turn around on it, I can't remember what that's called.
I
Yeah,
don't
that,
know the names, but
no,
turn
I
around work.
should know because I hear them all the time, but I don't know. But, you know, I think I will try it again.
Yeah.
I'm going to park that for now. It will be another side quest, I think.
So do you feel like, obviously because your training has helped you feel capable to get on a skateboard and try it, but if you didn't train, where do you feel like you'd be? You just wouldn't get on the board? Like, how
Oh,
do you feel
yeah.
like you would feel personally in your body to even try that?
Oh, God, yeah.
Or
Yeah,
just
because I know
shit
my,
scared?
yeah, I think since I got into doing more dynamic movement
Yeah.
and learning about that has really changed how I feel in my body. I think I've always felt pretty well coordinated, honestly. But I remember like running and jumping, I used to feel a little bit of hesitancy around. So actually like having impact with the floor, I can remember feeling hesitancy around and it just never felt that comfortable. I remember feeling like a heavy lump of concrete
Yeah.
in certain movements. Like if there was jumping in the warm-up in our CrossFit days, do you remember Junkyard Dog? Where you hold the pole, like someone sits on the floor and you hold the poles out and like you have to jump over each arm and go
Yeah,
round.
yeah, yeah.
I used to hate that because I'd be like, I just felt like I was smacking into the floor really hard. But since my dynamic training exposure, increased,
Yeah.
that's one of the things for me because you just feel like you've got quick reactions now.
I actually
And
feel like that is an area. Maybe we've had a similar kind of back into fitness before, where then exposed to dynamic stuff again. For me, I was only exposed to it really in the last couple of years again, maybe for yourself. And I hadn't been doing any of it.
no,
And like you said, I felt like I was stuck in the floor. It was like I was heavy and I was just sinking, but I couldn't come back out the hole again.
yeah,
And I feel like general fitness, unless you're doing athletic training and dynamic training, you're not exposed to that ever.
no.
And if you're doing CrossFit, you're doing box jumps, but really you're not doing it with the intent of, rebounding quickly. You're just doing it to get up on the box to get through a workout.
Yeah, and there's not really a lot of change of direction in CrossFit.
No, there's not.
You
No.
Everything's mostly sagittal plane, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So
So
yeah,
doing
even though
like a lateral bound or something.
yeah,
If you hadn't done it in a couple of years, the first few reps are like, what is going on?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going into when I did my biomechanics mentorship in early 2022, and there was testing in that, and it was testing vertical jump, testing broad jump, and I don't think I'd ever like really done those things before, and they're just basic jumps, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is, right?
So
So what makes you think that sort of training where have we lost that sort of training? Because I feel like we have in general fitness, that is just non-existent unless you're actually searching for it now.
yeah, I agree, and I think it just comes back to, what is mainstream strength and fitness? It's really bodybuilding, isn't it? It is
Aesthetics driven,
still, yeah, it's still overwhelmingly aesthetics driven, and you don't have to be fast if you're trying to build muscle.
yeah.
But I think it really is a missing piece, especially when we talk about longevity. And this is like one of the biggest focuses in my group training. I'm exposing women to just really small doses of all of the micro movements that form dynamic movement, that, you know, getting on and off one leg, or like stopping quickly, or being a little bit sinky into the floor versus being a bit stiffer and like popping into like another jump or another movement. Rotation, so like things like chops and other kinds of drops as well. Like,
Yeah.
I think they are what, I think it's one of the biggest pieces of the trust in your own body. It's not just strength. You can be strong and you can have trouble moving around in day-to-day life, and you can have trouble managing those little unplanned moments in day-to-day movement because you haven't got that reactiveness, you haven't got the balance, you haven't got the coordination.
Yeah, I agree.
The dynamic movement is a must, I think.
Yeah, do you feel like that leads into, you know, like if someone is quite stiff and rigid and they don't really train in a dynamic way, day-to-day life is a bit more, you need to be more flexible. Things are happening in different directions. You need to be quicker to react to things.
Yeah.
So losing that rotation leads to just a loss in movement options, right? And
Yeah, for
day-to-day
sure.
life requires more than the training we do in the gym usually. Over the years, I felt that in my own body, to be fair, until I started really adding rotation in and mixing things up. And
Yes.
yes, CrossFit, as much as there was jumping involved, there was no jumping with any variation or any intent. And even if you're really fit and strong in CrossFit, it doesn't mean you're stable in terms of where your center of mass and how you feel the ground is. You can be really off of that still.
And there's so, like, if you think about the CrossFit workouts, everything is for time, right? So there's a real...
We should make one where it's about movement quality and we rate it.
But you're missing out on the eccentric part of training, which is where the control lives.
Yes, I agree, yeah.
And it's where...
I've got
I
something
mean,
interesting to
really,
say on that.
if you're not training muscles eccentrically, you're also missing power and force generation and speed, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because you've got to lengthen to load, right? So if you can't...
Yeah. Something I notice in a lot of the people that I work with, who are obviously like ex-CrossFitters or people that are still doing CrossFit, is if I ever get a form check from them, a video from them, they're always too fast.
Yeah.
So eccentric control and pressure management, which comes along with that,
Yeah.
they're the two biggest things I see CrossFitters don't have.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
That makes
That's just
sense.
been highlighted by you saying that as well.
So, in terms of pressure management, then,
You're going deep.
should we go into your favourite topic?
And what is that?
Pelvic floors and buttholes?
Oh,
Are we going to
okay.
go there?
All right. Well, yeah, you can start it off.
What pressure management issues do you see with your CrossFitters, Josh?
Pressure management. I mean, just general awareness of what pressure management actually feels like.
Yeah.
I think even for myself, before I was involved in working in this, I didn't ever think of what pressure management was. I might have done it in the background of lifts that I was doing, but I was thinking about the weight I was moving on the bar rather than how that weight was getting down and then up again, and how pressure is actually the thing that moves the weight. And people think it's muscles, but I think pressure is the thing that moves heavy weights, basically. And a lot of people that I find who have maybe a lack of stability in CrossFit, and they have, I guess, pain and joint issues, there's always some dialing in to do when it comes to pressure management. And I think there's a learning curve for people when they first start training and thinking about this at the same time, like trying to stay in a stacked position and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I was just going to
I'll be
say,
honest,
like...
it's complex. If you're trying to explain it to someone new, what's going on when it comes to pressure management and how that's affecting the joints and how the muscles are feeling,
Yeah.
it's not that easy to get someone to kind of buy into that.
No. What faces do you see when you bring someone's diaphragm into the conversation?
I try not to talk about diaphragm.
How do you lead into it?
People think, oh, it's breathing exercises, here we go.
What's your soft launch, Josh? How do you get people into pressure management?
How do I get people into it? I used to start with a series of introductory breathing drills for them to sense things. But now, depending on who it's with, I usually get them to sense it in the bigger patterns and telling them where they should feel it and what it should feel like. So
Yeah.
instead of like doing a back squat, for example, where it's harder to manage your pressure,
Yeah.
I would pick a front loaded variation with heel elevation and arms in a different position where, in a way, they don't have to think about pressure management. The position puts them into a position where they can manage their pressure without thinking about it as much. And then we just train that for a long time until they start understanding how to build strength in that position.
Yeah.
So I try not to talk about it. I try just to sly in exercises that they just get the benefit from anyway.
You just dodge it. You just side.
I don't dodge. Oh, well, do I dodge it? Maybe I do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably, I think pressure management is easier for me to coach because, so I do work mainly with women and, you know, they obviously know they're having a pressure management issue if they've got pelvic floor stuff, if they've got leaks or heaviness, like straight away, they've got something they can connect into. So it's quite easy to say, oh yeah, if your diaphragm and your pelvic floor are like stacked on top of each other, they can do this instead of like squishing everything down and out.
Yeah.
So it's easier from my point of view in that sense.
I think sometimes when you're dealing with pain in an area,
Yeah.
imagine you're dealing with pain in the wrist, for example, and in my eyes, I might go, right, this person needs to work on their pressure management because it's going to help their rib cage, it's going to help their shoulder. It's so far away from the point they want to work on that it's like, what's he talking about? We don't
You're
need to
making
talk
shit
about
up,
my
man.
diaphragm. Yeah, it sounds like you're making shit up. So I think that's where the problem can, like, for the people you work with, if they can feel it and it's local to that area, it makes sense easier. But when it's further afield, like a wrist or an ankle or something, it gets a little bit confusing as to why we're working on pressure management. And I think there's a steeper learning curve when it comes to it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like wrist impingements, for example. Loads of people have them on a front squat. And they say they can't get into the position. But if I look at their rib cage and their ability to reach their elbows forward, the issue is it tends to be there and it's nothing to do with the wrist itself.
Yeah.
But they'll come out the front rack and start stretching their wrists. So.
Yeah.
But it's harder to explain.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's funny that you mentioned back squats because I think
this could be a whole conversation.
I know it could. I think you've brought back squats into your life, and I have too. So I'm curious, like, is that right? Was there a gap without back squats in your training?
Yeah, so I was actually going to ask you this question, and the question was this, but I'll answer it first if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
I was going to say, what do you think the rabbit holes are for coaches in our industry which slow us down in terms of professional development and our own training? Because I feel like we kind of blur the two anyway when it comes to our training and how our brain works with clients.
Yeah.
And I'll answer it first because I said I would.
Go on.
I feel like learning some models out there that I guess you highlight too much and you bring too much attention and focus towards that, and you go down a rabbit hole of trying to make this specific model work, and then in doing so, you go so deep in a rabbit hole, you forget fitness and you forget conditioning, you forget moving well. There's a lot more to it than being down a rabbit hole, so you have to come back out again.
Yes.
And I feel like I've done it a few times with different systems. And it's like a wave of, I'm in a rabbit hole, I'm out the rabbit hole, like it's constant. And hopefully now I'm out of that rabbit hole for good and I can just be like, I'm going to learn this system and just use bits of it rather than dive too deep into it, just grab pieces I want out of it. But for me, when it comes to back squats, the whole compression expansion model pushed me away from that because I deemed them, I wasn't stacked, they were going to compress me, I'm going to feel like crap after doing them. I didn't have the mobility to warrant doing them if I was like doing table tests. I wasn't allowed to do them. This is kind of how I felt. And then I went back to back squats and they felt amazing because I hadn't done them for a while and I've built like other qualities. But me doing back squats now is just fun and I miss them. So that's my little story of how it went.
Yeah, And I think mine's pretty similar. And this is coming back to the start of the conversation where we talked about mindset shifts in training, and mine was, we shared that mindset shift of training for aesthetics into coming into CrossFit training for performance. And then the next mindset shift for me was going into the rabbit hole of biomechanics.
Yeah.
And having my mind blown open by things like pressure management, expansion compression model, and thinking about connective tissues in training and dynamic movement and like all of that really cool stuff. But yes, I absolutely got lost in all of that. It made me fearful of my own body again, because I took, like right at the start of it, I took away that CrossFit is based in being in a position of extension, global extension, and extension is bad, and I should avoid it forever.
Yeah.
And you
now
maybe went through that too.
Now I can't extend anymore because I stopped doing it.
Exactly.
I try and do a PhD sit up, the floor is nowhere near me anymore.
Oh, don't talk about those. Yeah, so where are we? Rabbit holes. It was, I went into that place of fear again, and now I need to correct everything. Like all of this stuff is wrong and I need to correct it. And don't get me wrong, my body was a mess. If I look at my first rock back breathing video picture, oh my God, I'm so high up from the floor because my back could not round. Wow. I was stuck. I was properly stuck, and I needed all of this. I needed all of these strategies and interventions to make my body move well again. But at the same time, I went too far and avoided stuff.
Yeah.
And then I can recognize where with clients as well, I forgot about training principles because I got lost in this. I can see this part of their rib cage is not moving that well, and I'm going to spend my time on these breathing drills. And then I started to feel that conflict. Yeah. And then I started to feel actually more confused.
Yeah. I felt the same.
Yeah, and then I've been through another sort of evolution of just coming back to training. And I've been in other mentorships as well now that have kind of looked at those models and really focused on the narratives around those models, because I think that's what we have to remember, isn't it? Each model has a particular narrative, and you can accidentally try and make the narrative fit what you're working with, and that's not helpful, and it keeps you stuck. Whereas if you just take the little bits from each model and forget the narratives, forget all the fear, and just come back to training, you're probably going to do a much better job.
Yeah, I think my own personal experience here, obviously I was chatting about knee pain. The whole reason I guess I moved into this and started learning was to get out knee pain.
Yeah.
And I went through functional range conditioning, which helped to a degree. But I went so far down that rabbit hole that I ended up just working on everything because I thought after like a full assessment, I was like, oh my God, no
just
joints.
Just like this all the time.
Yeah, I know you're not the biggest fan. And then I think even when learning biomechanics, I felt like in my head, I was like, oh, I know everything. I know how these twists and turns work. I'm going to untwist my knee and everything. But then I was still missing exposure and tolerance and everything else that comes on top of it. And it wasn't until I was then working with someone else who didn't know anything that I knew and just done some basic stuff that I'd forgot about in the past, and it worked. And I was just so deep in a rabbit hole that it was annoying because I paid for someone else's help when I could have done it myself, but I didn't know because I was stuck in my own hole.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Was it just
you need the snippets of everything to work together.
Yeah. 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 And I think like something else that I changed my mind on, and this is thanks to you actually,
All
in
right.
terms
Okay.
of like, yeah, positive influence on my systems, Josh. Adding strength testing into client
Okay.
assessments,
Yeah.
because I was just doing postural assessments.
Mhm.
And then you revisit a postural assessment and then you show someone a picture where, oh, they've rotated a bit more. And it's like, oh, that's cool. And you can hear them saying, oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
can see I've got more movement. And it's like, actually, that's fucking meaningless. Like, this
Yeah.
picture is literally fucking meaningless
Yeah.
because you can't relate it to whether someone's got stronger. Like, they probably have, and they probably can feel that in their body. But in terms of providing that objective data, I was missing that. And it was through talking to you about like adding in strength tests, actually having data to reflect back on.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, you can touch your toes a little bit more now. That's great because I know you've got more space in your spine, but actually you've also improved your split squat hold and your forearm plank. You've actually got
Yeah.
protracted shoulders now. So it's
Yeah.
that stuff.
I feel like people enjoy it as well. Whenever someone first works with me, they have a test week, and it's not an easy test week. I'll be honest, because
No.
you're testing, right? Um, but there's always things in there, like you might do a split squat isometric hold, and you might get like 10 seconds on one side and 30 seconds on the other, and you
Yeah.
like the client is like, oh my god, I can only do 10 seconds. They don't need me to tell them it was bad or they need to work on it. It highlights to them and it kind of sells them, this is the journey you now need to take to improve on these things.
Yeah.
And because they can see it, and it's not like me going, oh, you need 2 degrees more of internal rotation. You need to do, yeah, like, because that doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't mean
No.
anything to me really either. Like, I'd rather see someone do something in front of me and testing wise where they can feel the strength or feel the instability in there, where they
Yeah.
can self-reflect on that in 2 or 3 months' time and retest it and see the progress,
Yeah.
rather than me tell them this is the progress, but what does it really mean?
Yeah, and it comes back to my thought around like someone having a relationship with their training, because it forces them to be present with where they actually are.
Yeah, it does.
And I had a hard time. I think I thought I was being mean if I put people through strength tests. I think I thought I would be
It's me.
demoralizing people. I mean, it is mean,
I agree.
but at the same time, like it's asking them to take ownership of what is right there, and they can't dispute what is right there.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's like you say, it is hard. Like I just do tests in one session. It's not a week, but it's a
Mine's a bit
it's a
more
hard
intense.
session.
Yeah.
And people come away like, okay,
Yeah.
like they're uplifted by it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I know what I need to do now. I know the work is right there. I can see it and feel it.
I think it takes people away from feeling like they're chasing a pain goal as well. Because
Yes.
say someone has a bad back,
Yeah.
but you've tested single leg squats, you've tested a pull up, you've tested a bench press. All of a sudden, throughout the entire week of the testing they're doing me, they didn't think about their back. They're thinking of beating these tests.
Yeah.
And in the months to come, they're not thinking of their back now. Their mindset is towards, I need to improve my press ups, I need to improve my chin ups because they were here and I need to get them there. And
Yeah.
taking someone away from that pain cycle, and it's like you want to like sidetracking what they're really trying to achieve is to get out of back pain maybe, but you're chasing all these other things which are performance driven to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that is a nicer way to train rather than feeling like I'm doing this to get out of back pain. It's I'm doing this to get physically stronger everywhere or in one area in particular. So
Yeah.
it stops people becoming overwhelmed with, I can't do stuff because of XYZ pain.
Yeah, and it's just giving people freedom back, isn't it? And getting out of that mindset of I'm broken and I need fixing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think what you and I have learned now through the approaches that we've been through, like if we get niggles now, it's kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
I've got all of this stuff I can do. Like I've got an itis now. I've got a pissed off
Coming
elbow.
back.
Yeah. But there's like, before, when I think about if this has happened before, I would have been probably taking out all upper body work. Now I'm like, well, I've had to take out one exercise.
Yeah.
And I can still do all of this stuff. So yeah, it's just changing that mindset and that approach, that there is always more available. And then it comes back to that's what makes your world bigger again, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, it's a good mindset change, I think. What do you feel like? I'm going to the next question.
Okay.
Because I said I'd ask this, and you don't have to answer it in a way where it... Let me ask a question. Where do you think the industry goes wrong with women's training? Do you feel like women and men should train differently? And maybe they shouldn't, or they should. I just want to know your opinion on it.
I don't think women need to train differently from... If we think about strength training principles, nothing needs to be different. Progressive overload is progressive overload.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter the rep and set schemes that you use to get there, right?
Yep.
So women don't need different training approaches in that sense. What I see in working with women, and what I find helps me to connect with women, is having an understanding of where they might feel shame in their bodies.
Okay.
Because most women are going to have experienced body shame in their lifetime, or maybe throughout their lifetime.
Okay.
So if you make an assumption that there is maybe like a vulnerability there, or has been there, so that comes back to like being emotionally attuned.
Yeah.
Women are, I think we still have a generation of women who learn about movement in school PE.
Yeah.
And were, again, this is another shame aspect, were made to feel shit about themselves and never had the opportunity to feel athletic, and therefore don't really have a context of what athleticism feels like. So that's the barrier. I think it's hard for a lot of women to connect into, because there's a lot of talk, especially in like the longevity space, isn't there? There's a lot of talk about, dodging osteoporosis by doing high impact training, jumping, plyometrics.
Yeah.
If you're someone who has never experienced or been exposed to any of that stuff, you're just going to see it as, well, there's no fucking way I'm doing that.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
There's a huge gap in connecting women to what they need and what they have experienced. And probably the biggest part is that women have to experience constant marketing around where their body is failing. Okay, so
I thought you're going to have to go deeper into that, into where.
yeah, so
I experience what you have here, so.
Yeah, I think women's health and fitness marketing is still marketed heavily towards an aesthetic.
Okay.
Still.
Do you feel like that is because... Is that through your own experience using social media? Or do you feel like it's because of conversations you've had with the people you're working with?
Both.
But you're also exposed to people who are women.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like your exposure would be more related to, like, say you open your Instagram, yours is going to be more female dominated on your feed than mine would be. Mine would be more male dominated because of what I'm looking through.
Yeah.
So I was only going to say, I'm not saying it's not, but I do think men do have, like when I open my social media, it's full of ripped athletic guys as well, because that's the sort of things I'm looking for in my algorithm. And I'm working with
Yeah.
guys who tell me this as well. I'm not saying it's not true in your case. I just wondered whether that was because of who you're exposed to and what you see on your socials.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like what I actually allow into my life
Yes.
as a
Yeah.
lens of, and that being a bias potentially. I see what you're saying. And yeah, but I think women are still living in this. I need to exercise to look a certain way, and a lot of the women that I'm working with, I think I made a post on this. They're exercise literate and they're not movement literate at all.
Okay.
They could come in and do a squat, but like being able to get on and off a leg, being able to change direction, being able to control the eccentric part of a movement, that's really challenging.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because I do think women are fed more exercise like this, eat like this, you will
Okay.
look like this. I think that's the overwhelming message for women. I think it's shifting a bit, but again, like this is another exposure of mine at the moment, is stuff around like menopause and perimenopause, because I'm in that age bracket. And it's just such a load of shit. Some of it is just such shit, honestly. And it's just more of the same marketing speak. It's
Yeah.
not actually true. It's not actually based on.
So you feel like like if you didn't have the knowledge you did and you went on your socials, there'd be more fear going into things by the marketing that you're seeing on your social
Oh,
media.
yeah, like I need creatine
Rather than
gummies, and
advice, it's more I'm not doing the right things all the time.
yeah, and it's still looking at all the extra bits. Like,
Yeah.
have some creatine gummies, but you're probably not having breakfast, never mind enough protein. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you don't think men and women should train differently in terms of strength and conditioning?
No, I
Okay.
do. Well, one caveat to that.
Here we
I
go.
mean, this applies to men and women, but I do think typically women run in a more depleted state as they're normal.
Okay.
So there's a recovery element there. It's not a greater need for recovery than men. I just think this is my client experience here. The women I see tend to exist on a much lower baseline of sleep and fuel
Okay.
as normal.
Yeah. It's interesting because I was gonna. I work with more men.
Yeah.
The guys I work with, they work crazy hours. They don't get any sleep, and they train really damn hard because the mindset is the train hard mindset, like we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because that might be one of the reasons they're a client of mine, because they're dealing with some stuff that I've picked up on and they need work. And obviously, the people coming to see you are the same. They're using you as a solution as such. So I'm not saying again that women are more stressed coming to work with you than maybe a man would be, but I guess that's
No.
my exposure again is the other way around. So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
everyone is just
Yeah.
over stimulated and too stressed.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I would agree with you. Like this is the problem of our time, isn't it?
Yeah,
Under-recovered, overstimulated, overwhelmed, emotional overload. It's there for everyone, for sure.
yeah. So do you ever get to points in your training now where you understand straight away, I don't need to train today because I don't feel like my body's ready for it? Is that an easy decision
Yeah.
for you to make now?
Oh God, yeah. And I've been tracking my HRV since September or August last year, which is
Okay.
like, I think I've talked to you before. I'm not a data person.
I am though. I
I know
love
you
data.
are. And what I've noticed with it, I I I look at it every morning, and I can kind of tune into whether it feels accurate or not, and then whether that's going to influence what I do.
Yeah.
Like, if I had a day where it was really low, I will probably just change what I'm going to do. It's probably not going to be a back squat day. It will probably be a zone 2 cardio day.
Yeah.
And that's how I roll with it now. And that's easy, because it's like, well,
So
why
you
would
just
I
change
want
your
to?
schedule. You don't. You just change your schedule according
Yeah,
to
yeah.
not what your HRV says, but because you're quite
No,
fit anyway, but how you feel.
more how I feel, yeah. And then the HRV is just there in the background as like
Yeah.
confirm or deny. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting. I only use HRV really as a metric or a bit of data to help guide me. I
Yeah.
don't overuse it, but when it comes to sleep and things like body battery, I don't think actually no, I agree with the sleep. I record my sleep all the time. But when it comes to body battery, that can just go and do one because it's always too low.
Oh,
And it's
is
not
it?
going to influence me training,
Yeah.
really. But I will
Yeah.
listen to my HRV because I feel like
Yeah.
that's quite an accurate figure. And I
Yeah.
always keep on top of where my sleep is
Mm.
and the quality of it. But again, if I don't get enough, I don't get enough. It's not because it's usually to do with a lack of like routine and structure from me that week, and things will change next week. So it's not like I've got to overhaul everything all the time.
No.
I do like data, but I try to just keep it in the background as such, rather than influencing what I should do with it in terms of training.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. I've got a question for you regarding postnatal recovery because I guess this feeds in from like how you've changed over the years in your training.
I was a CrossFit mum.
Okay. So how would your postnatal recovery look now compared to then? This is going to be a deep question.
Nothing like it did. Oh my God.
What
My
was it
post-
like then in terms of recovery then?
I was fucking dead bugs, Josh.
Well, at least you've done something.
It was literally dead bugs. What would it look like? Yeah, so I did loads of dead bugs. It was all just fucking focusing on core and pelvic floor. So it was like basically doing like Kegels, but with my breath.
Okay.
And then like doing Kegels when I was coming out of a squat. It was just so low grade. And I think at that time there were a couple of coaches in the CrossFit space who were specialising, and I remember there was a lot of like diastasis recti was like made it into the mainstream. And I remember having this fear of like, oh, is my abdomen coning? Oh my God, it means I need to stop what I'm doing immediately. And yeah, just thinking about that now, I guess it was another rabbit hole. It was probably my first rabbit hole of, of like, oh, I shouldn't do this now because I'm not ready. If I think about how I would do this now, I would be getting on my feet and doing stuff on my feet a lot sooner. Like, yes, there is some value in getting that integration between ribcage and pelvis again. Of course there is. And I think probably more from a sensory point of view, because like I remember after giving birth, it was like, what is this? Yeah. What is this bit in the middle? It felt like it had got up and left, honestly. Okay. Where I felt like I had a structure, it felt like it wasn't there.
Okay.
And it's very, very strange to sort of remember that and think about that. So from a sensory point of view, like the breathing and just finding that sensory connection again, there's the value. But you need to like get off the floor and start building that connection into integrated movements much sooner. Yeah. Like I took ages and I didn't need to take that long. I didn't.
So you had a slower recovery compared to what you could have had.
I think so. I mean, it wasn't a bad thing by any sense. And you're knackered anyway.
Yeah.
You're just absolutely fucked. So, you know, I was probably just doing what I could at the time anyway, and it's all very well with going back and going, oh well, I could have loaded up sooner. I probably still would have been too fucking tired. So,
Yeah.
but I would have done more foot stuff. If I was doing it now, if I was giving someone a postnatal
Getting up
program
off
now,
the ground earlier on.
yeah, and working through the feet, like getting the feet to push the floor away properly, because now I think about that as being one of the biggest influences of pelvic floor function.
Okay.
So
In terms
that's
of hinging or filling it in a squat as well.
no, I mean like actually getting the mid and the forefoot to like really be able to load, so that so your feet are actually absorbing force,
Okay.
you know, at the bottom of the chain, rather than it actually having to be passed upstairs because your feet haven't been able
Yeah.
to connect that tension.
Yeah. Okay. So slightly different to before. Just a sped up approach and using the feet more and getting people off the ground earlier on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for today. Where can people find you? Is it just on Instagram or is it any other socials?
No, just Instagram.
What's your Instagram handle again?
Strong by Stella.